today I'm here to discuss about the device query in Microsoft Intune and the KQL. But before that, I'm Sujin. It's been 10 years I'm in the industry. I work on the DevOps, Intune, SCCM, and I do love coding as well. So I work on the PowerShell coding as well as the JavaScript coding. So that's it about me. And this is my LinkedIn handle. You can connect me over there as well. Right, let me move to the next slide. So yeah, as I discussed today, we're going to discuss about the device query and the KQL in Intune. These are the agendas what I said for you guys today. So today I'm going to discuss about what exactly the device query and what are the prerequisites we must follow before we work on the device query. What are the supported properties that you can see inside the device query once you into the Intune portal, and what are the limitations of device query? Obviously, you must understand what are the limitations when you work on any new stuff which would come up. So, and at last we will discuss about what exactly the KQL, and obviously I will give the demonstration. I have limited slides over here, and now once I'm done with this one, I will move to the demo session. And yeah, for sure, end of the session we will have a question and answer session as well. Meanwhile, like I said, you can post your questions in the chat session as well, right? So what exactly the device query does it mean? Device query allows you to quickly gain on-demand information about the state of your devices, right? Any device that's been enrolled to the Intune, any Windows device in double quotes. I'll talk about that later after some time. But any Windows device which been enrolled into the Intune, can get on-demand information like live information through the device query. And this is a new feature that's been introduced in last quarter, I believe. No, not it was introduced in the February by Microsoft. So it will the device query options or feature will allow you to gain, like I said, on demand information, right? So, and the next point is device query provides IT administrator with a feature to quickly gain information about the device within the environment. It's going to be a live information. So whatever the information which you need, or like a real-time data, live information, there's no historical information you can fetch through the device query feature case. So whatever the informations like which is live, you can get through the device query. So there are many other options like many scripting, many reports, many options available even in the Intune as well as outside the Intune. You can fetch and gather the information about any device, right? So but most of the times what would happen when you write the script and send it to the end user, and or maybe the device, by the time when you get the result, probably it most of the time the output not going to be live data. That's what would happen with the SCCM reporting as well. I believe most of you work with the SCCM, so most of the time you won't get the live report. So one of the good advantage benefit of device query, you always get the live report from any device which been enrolled into the Intune. All right. So device query support only the KQL language. What is KQL? Kusto Query Language. I'll discuss about the KQL, but it support only the subnet of operator supporter, like the KQL. There's no other language like PowerShell, SQL, WQL, you name it, anything, but it won't be supportable in Intune. But you can deploy or you can work with any coding language in the Intune, right? You can work with like PowerShell, you can work with maybe anything, but the device query would support only the Kusto Query Language or KQL, you name it. All right. So device query capability was introduced in February, like I said, just 2 months back. It was introduced by Microsoft in the release of February 2024, right? And Intune data platform schema contains the data that is available in the query via device query, right? So whatever the data which is available in the Intune data platform schema can get through the device query. So you might wonder from where we are getting all these details, right? We are getting the details from the Intune data platform schema. All right. So I'm moving to the next point. So data return that can be filtered, it can be grouped, it can be refined to the business requirement. So you have a bunch of data, so it can be filtered, it can be grouped, you can modify your output, right? And you can work on it, right? So obviously the whatever the data you need, you can get it through the device query, and it can be filtered. Only device query is giving option only to read the documents. You can't make any changes using the device query or using the KQL, right? So like I said, it supports only the Windows 10 and later operating system. Yes, so it won't support any Linux, it won't support any Mac OS, it won't support Windows 8 or maybe other operating system. It will not definitely work on the uh, Android system, right? It will support only on the Windows system, Windows 10 and later operating system. Always remember that. So what are the prerequisites you must follow when before you work on the device query? So very first thing is your permissions, right? So if you don't have enough permissions, obviously you will not be able to work on the device query. That's what I made it as my first point. To use device query in your tenant, you must have a license that includes Microsoft Intune Advanced Analytics. What does it mean? If you don't have a Microsoft Intune Advanced Analytics feature or maybe a license, you will not be able to work on the device query features. How you can verify uh, the Intune Advanced Analytics feature? I will show you when I give you a demo session. All right. Let me move to the next slide. Next point. Advanced analytics features are available with the Intune Advanced Analytics add-on or with the Microsoft Intune suite. So which means that if you have an Intune Advanced Analytics add-on or if you have an Microsoft Intune suite, you will be able to work on the device query. Either one of like either you should have a license to use or maybe license with the Intune Advanced Analytics add-on or maybe with the Microsoft Intune suite. Say if you don't have access or maybe license to use Intune Advanced Analytics add-on or with the Microsoft Intune suite, you will not be able to work with the device query. Always remember. So many people I have seen in the community itself, people are saying that Intune device query is not working for me. The reason why it's not working for you because you don't have the correct license assigned with your tenant or maybe with your user account. All right. Let me move to the next points. To use the device query on a device, the device must be enrolled into the endpoint analytics, not just to the Intune. So it doesn't mean that you say you take a device that's been enrolled into the Intune, obviously. So that's not enough. You have to enroll the device into the endpoint analytics as well. I will show you where you can check that when I go to the demo. So for a user to use a device query, you must assign the managed device query permissions to them. Like I said, if you don't have the enough permission, again you will not be able to work with the device query at all, right? So the device must be Intune managed or corporate on. This point we already discussed. If the device is not the Intune managed or a corporate on device, obviously you will not be able to work on the device query. Which also means that any missions like which can be like any other maybe like in the SCCM managed devices can't be like work with the Intune device query feature. So the device query feature will not work on those devices, right? So these are the supported properties with the device query. So if you open the device query options feature in the Intune portal, you will be able to see all these properties, right, which is listed over there, and you can work all these properties. See, the very first property is BIOS info. The second one is certificate, CPU, disk drive, file info, local group, you name it, anything, right? Whatever I listed here, you can take any property and you can gather information. Why we are using the device query? We are using the device query to gather the information, right? Get the report, right? Get the live report, get the live data from your end user device, right? So what all are the properties? What all are the details you can get through the device query? That's what I'm trying to discuss here. If you could understand. So the very first thing is BIOS info. You could get the live BIOS info of your end user device. You could get the certificate details of your end user device. Also the CPU details. CPU details are pretty critical always when you work with end user. Probably who were tightly deal with end user, you would understand the situation or scenarios that end user CPU would a crash, or maybe if there's high CPU usage, right? All kind of issues you would get page or high priority incident or regarding your CPU issues, right? So you can monitor without logging to the system, like without writing any code, maybe using the PowerShell or any other coding language. Just simply log into the Intune portal and go to the device query, right, and take the mission and go with the KQL query. You must have little understanding about the KQL query language. That's it. So like you could get the query from online at internet as well. That's not a big deal though. I have listed out some queries for you. We would we will test some queries. I believe this window is not enough to explore all the KQL queries, not all the KQL properties. I have listed few stuffs for you. We will try it in our demo session. All right, again I'm saying these all are the properties you can can try. You can gather the information from the end user device. You could get the OS version, OS details. You could get the system information, the RAM information, driver information, registry information, right? Or the process information, what all of the process which is running, right? Also the C drive, D drive, any file information. Also the local group which been created on the device can be fetched through the a device query by coding, right? The memory information, like I said, RAM, CPU, anything, any information uh, 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 can be fetched to the device query, or using this supported properties. This is a Microsoft document. I will share the document in a bit once I'm done with the session. All right. Also, I have document all these things in my blog post as well. I can get that in a while. Right. So what are the limitations? It's like I said, it's mandatory to understand the limitations when you work with any technology, right? So what are the limitations of the device query? You must understand that the device query is limited to 128 KB characters and get truncated if it exceeds the limit, right? So the query result in the sense output of your device query is limited to 128 KB characters. If the output of your device query again exceed 120 KB characters, what would happen? It won't throw any error for sure, but the output will be truncated, right? So that you always have to keep in mind, right? You can send only 15 queries in a minute, right? So you can't send more than 15 queries in a minute. This like as per Microsoft, they say if you send 15 queries, maybe more than 15 queries in a minute, you would get an error, right? That's also a limitation of device query. So the input have length limit of 2048 characters. If the length limit is exceed this character numeric, you will again get an error. All right. So the device query is currently only support the device which is running only on the Windows 10 and later, like I discussed. So it would support only the Windows latest operating system, not with any old school operating system like Windows 8 or 8.1 or the Windows 7, right? Or with any other operating system like Mac OS, maybe with the Android. You can't fetch the details of like any other operating system running mission. So it would support only with the Microsoft 10 and later operating system, right? That's also you have to keep in mind when you work on the device query. Let me move to the next point. The Windows registry entity fails to return registry key for root, 64-bit shared registry key, and the binary value data. This is the limitation when you work only with the Windows registry entity, right? Otherwise, everything will be all good. File info queries will result an error, right? If the file is being used by another program. So, for example, if you're trying to query a file info, right? And if in case if that file may be used by some other user, maybe like anyone is already working on that file, you get an error with the file info queries, only with the file info queries, right? If multiple network card exist, that's also a scenario, right? If you could think of it. So in some scenarios, some situations, multiple network card would be exist on the devices, right? So it would get you the information about only the first configured domain, right? If you have a multiple network card, multiple domain, multiple network card exist, it will get the details about only the first configured domain, right? You can fetch the details, still you can go with the details of the network card, but you will get the first configured domain details only. All right. So now it's the time to discuss about the what is KQL, right? I have already discussed KQL query will support, or maybe the device query feature is capable to work only with the KQL language, Kusto Query Language. Have you heard about the KQL? Anyone? Anyone have any idea about the KQL in my audience here?
Yeah, we are using it in same pivot in SCCM.
Okay, yeah, the
Sujit?
same as what same pivot, yeah, same as same pivot what we have in the SCCM, right? So even there also you will get the live data. That's what you meant to say, right, Balaji?
Yes, Sujit, yes.
Okay, all
It's
good, all
also
good. So,
real-time information we are
okay,
getting
yeah, or
through
live
same
data.
pivot.
Yep. Okay, so the KQL, I have made some few few points for you, right? KQL, or the Kusto Query Language, is used to write queries in Azure Data Explorer, Azure Monitor Log Analytics, Azure Sentinel, and etc. So what does it mean? So it would support only with the cloud. You see, it used to write the queries in Azure Data Explorer, Azure Monitor Log Analytics, Azure Sentinel. Now we are working with the Intune, right? Intune. So what does it mean? You can fetch the details using the KQL query language from the cloud resources. That's what I'm trying to say here. Hope it makes sense for you. Right. KQL is a powerful tool, obviously, to explore your data and discover patterns, identify the outline, and create statistical modeling, or output. All right. So Kusto Query Language, or KQL, is using only for the read the data, read the read only request, or maybe say you, if you want to make any changes, probably that will not work with your work with the Kusto Query Language. That's what my understanding, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone is good with the KQL? So I'm not so good with the KQL. I'm still in the kind of a learning platform. So using the KQL, as per my testing, what I have seen, you can't make any changes in your database, right? You can just only get the data, get the maybe gather the information from your end user device. It's just as a read only stuff, or you can't make any changes. You can't write anything using the KQL. Hope that makes sense for you guys, right? And next point is, most common kind of query statement is in a tabular expression statement. What does it mean by a tabular expression statement? If you're good with the query, you would be able to understand what does it mean by a tabular expression statement. If you again good with the SQL, it's more relatable with the SQL. The input and output, whatever you feed here, right, and whatever you get from the KQL, using the KQL through the device query in the tabular form, right? So the input will be in the tabular form, also in the output also will be in the tabular form. That's what I mean to say using this statement. The most common kind of query statement is in the tabular expression statement, which means that both input and output consist of tables and tabular data sets, right? Hope that makes sense again. All query statement will be separated by a semicolon, right? That's a right, straightforward sentence. And KQL operators are sequenced by a pipe. So what does it mean by a pipe? If you're good with the PowerShell, you would be able to understand what does it mean by pipe, right? So all the SQL operators, I will show you when I write the query, SQL query in the the Intune portal. But remember, all KQL operators are sequenced by a pipe. Okay. So now it's a demo time, I believe. Yeah. Let me take my Intune portal here. All right. So hope you can see my screen, Intune portal.
Yeah, Sujay.
Uh,
Yes.
all right. So sorry. All right. So, like I said, before we start exploring the device query, you must understand what all are the permissions you need, right? So, we already discussed in the endpoint analytics, you should have the permissions, so the device must be enrolled into the endpoint analytics. How you can check that? So, when you come here in the home and the reports, you will get an option called endpoint analytics, right? If you have enough permission to explore in your tenant. All right. So once you're in the endpoint analytics, you can come here in the device course, right? And you can see the device which is enrolled to the endpoint analytics. If the device is not enrolled here, you will not be able to work. And say if the endpoint analytics is not configured here, you will get an option to configure the endpoint analytics over here in the endpoint analytics option in the reports. All right. Okay, now I will start exploring the device query options. Like I said, device query options is for the end user device, right? We have to go to the end user device now. Windows device, it's about only the Windows device. None other operating system would be supported here, right? This is my testing device, guys. I'm gonna explore. I'm gonna work on maybe query the KQL or query the device query option here in this device, right, in the test device. So I'll just open this device here. Right, if you little drag down the very last option, you get it here as device query. Just click on it, right? There are many other options, but you have to come here it down, right, and click on the device query option. And see, we discussed about the properties. There are, I believe, 20 plus properties which are available in device query. See, the very first one is BIOS info, right? The second one is certificate, right? And the third one is CPU. What does it mean? You can gather information, you can fetch information about all these properties, right? Before that, let me get the property details on the document for you. Where is my chat window? Right, we can go through this document. This is a Microsoft document. Also, you can go through this Intune data platform document, right? Sorry. All right, I will drag the Intune data platform article here. So you see the very first one is Microsoft info, right? So if you, again, this is the very first property what you get when you click on the device query. And what all are the details you could get it through the BIOS info, right? You can get the manufacturer, yeah, you can get the manufacturer details and the release date, time, serial number, and same version. So if you are a coding person, you would be able to understand what does it mean by a type. The return type of these manufacturer is a string, and maximum length is limited to 250 characters, right? And the release time, if you try to query, if you're querying the release date and time, the output type will be date time. It's obviously in double quotes, it's in the UTC time format, always remember that. And the serial number, if you trying to query, if you wanted to get an output or gather the information about the serial number, the output will be in the string type. Also the same as some BIOS version, also in the string type. If you drag down, you will have a multiple properties listed here by Microsoft. The second one is certificate. If you see when you check whether it's a CA certificate or what, the output will be in the Boolean type, right? And the valid from date time, it's in the date time format, right? The format is always important when you work on the coding, right? Then only you would be able to like work on the output and you will be able to format it correctly, right? If you look for the subject name, it's in the string format, right? So again, if you drag down, you would be able to gather the information about the CPU of the your end user device, right? And again, there are multiple property you can right query it. Like you can get the process ID, you can get the model, you can get the manufacturer details, you can get the current CPU status, what is the core count, right? Availability, you can check it over here. And what's the maximum clock speed of your CPU. I mean, again, live data, right? So what all of the disk drive details you can get through the querying. You can get the model, you can get the manufacturer, you can get the size, yes, you can get the serial number, you can get the description, right? Again, so I'm not going I'm not exploring all the properties here. I believe this window, like I said, wouldn't enough to explore, maybe like go through all the properties and discuss about it. So that's the reason I have given you the link. You can explore by yourself, and this is self-explanatory, right? I can again, if you go down, you can get the memory info, you can get the the OS information, so process information, right? Everything can be checked through this document. The same thing, all right, whatever the property you can see here, it will be listed here as well, right? You see the BIOS info certificate. I'm inside here in the device query. You can see the CPU, you can see the disk drive, you can see the file info, you can see what the memory info, right? The physical memory. So everything can be seen over here as well. Now we'll start querying. So I'm hearing the device query, right? I'll just come here. Now you see I don't have option to run, I don't have option to clear input, cancel, nothing, right? Because I didn't write anything. So what I will do, I will start from a very basic query, right? I will start with the BIOS info. So what I will do, I will just type BIOS info, right? I'm not putting anything now. Let's try to run, right? Running query, just write your query over here and just run. That's it. Not a big deal. Now you see you got the output here, right? Who is the manufacturer? When you expand, so the very first property what you can see, manufacturer, release date, time, serial number, SMS, SM BIOS version. That's what you see here, right? So release date, serial number, SM BIOS version, right? Now if you want to little filter the output of BIOS info, right? What I will do, I will just put a pipe over here, right? And say project, right? You if you're good enough to write the query, the like the Intune portal itself giving a hint what to write if you like type the first letter of the query, right? I'm just looking for the manufacturer, right? And it's separated by a comma, right? I look for the release date and time. Maybe I will look for the serial number, right? I'm getting everything, so maybe I will look for the SM what BIOS version as well. Now it's full, right? Again, I will get the same result what I see here, right? These are the property what I can gather. Now I'll go for maybe one or two properties. I'll just delete these two and I go for only the manufacturer and the release date and time. Let's see what output I should get. I should get and the release date and time details, right? So yeah, I got it. So you should be like enough capable to write the query by yourself. Like I said, not necessarily you can get the query from the internet as well, but yeah, it's always better to know, right? So maybe now what next uh, I will go for CPU. All right, maybe I got some query here. Let me copy paste and I will explain you what does that query would do. So you see the CPU again, right? CPU is the property and a pipe, right? And select project, and it will get the current clock speed, maximum clock speed, and the CPU status, right? So maybe I'll just cut here and I'll just run, and what output I will get, right? I got all the output here. You see there are lots of data in my plate now. So what I will do, I will just put the details what I need, right? I don't need all the output. I will just go for the current clock speed, right? You see again, remember we are running this query on this device, right? Not on all the devices, or maybe a group or maybe a collection, right? So we have to go with the individual device and run the query like this. All right, so maybe next I will go for what, maybe certificate. I will explore what option I have in the certificate. All right, maybe okay, I will say certificate, right? Certificate, when I'm writing itself, I'm getting the details. I'll go with the project, maybe a subject name, right? And maybe the valid data. All right, yeah, let's see what output I will get. All right, this is how the output will looks like. I just query to get the subject name and the valid data, date and time, right? I got one query which is available in the internal. Let's try that and explain that as well, right? So this is the query, right? So certificate, get output, and project, select what, subject name, valid from date and time, valid to date and time, common and name, right? But here certificate that will expire in the next 90 days. That's what I'm looking for. You see the certificate that would expire in the 90 days would list here, right? In the next 90 days. That's what I get here. All right. So when I'm running the query, I'll get the output here. It's taking time, but yeah, I got the output, right? If you want to clear the space, clear the input, you can just click here, right? So gone, right? So maybe what else I have in the certificate. Okay, ECA, right? So I'll just look for the certificate again, right? Certificate, right? Pipe, where, all right? ECA, right? ECA is the second property, right? Equal to what? True. When I go for it, hope I won't get any error. Yeah, all the CA certificates are listed here. You see, good one. And if I go for again, like project ECA, I need what all are the other details available. I'll look. Was that certificate, right? Let me expand the certificate. I will go for serial number. Serial number, yeah. Right, you see, I got whether the certificate is CA or not. Yeah, the certificate is CA, and the serial number of respective CA certificate. You see, that's how you can query it, right? And without writing any information, like I said, for example, I will go with the device, maybe the disk drive. Okay, so disk drive, I will just I'm like I showed you before, I'm not giving any conditions, I'm not doing any filtration over here, I'm just putting the property. So when I put the property details and when I go for a run, I will get all the details the device query will gather the each and every details what the properties available within it, and it will throw you as an output. You see the device disk drive details over here. You see this is the disk drive name, like what is the type, it's a SCSI type, right? What is the size, right? And like I said, this name, serial number if it's not available. Yeah, you can filter from here, and if you're good enough to query, you can just convert it to GB, convert it to MP, whatever you need, right? But the details are available in the tabular form. You guys see the output here, it's in the table, right? So the input and the output is in the tabular form, like the SQL. All right. So you want me to explore any other properties here? Like I said, probably I can't explore all the properties. I can't give you a demo about all the properties which are available, but I was trying to do like as much I can. Maybe what else? Let me see. Okay, I got something here in my cheat list. Okay, I'll go with this file info, right? So before running, I will show you what are the properties available with the file info. What are the tabs over here? File info, what I'm looking here, so I'm trying to get the files which is recently created. Okay, so how I can get the recently created files? I have to look for the created date and type property, right? If the property maybe the date and time like equals to so and so, then it means that it was created on the particular date. That's what I'm trying to code here. Okay, so the file info, like the device or maybe the file which is like in the Windows folder, right? And created but in a so and so time, and the output has to thrown in a descending order. That's what I meant to say, a code here. It has to order by descending, right? I will just run here, and the file info you'll see, right? Right, so the create date and time, it is there, right? You see this many files which was and you can see the last modified sorry, the created date and time over here, right? It's in the descending order. This is how it works. All right, and when I take the Microsoft document again here, let me drag it here. You see, so well, so these all are the properties or the table operators you can try with the KQL. You see, we just tried the order by, right? You see, this is the order by one, right? You can do the ascending or descending order stuff using the order by uh, option here, right? Operator. And we tried the where option, and we tried the project option, right? And we tried the equal to option, right? So like I said, you can divide your output, and you can, let's say for example, you got a disk size in a huge number, right? It would be probably in the KB. You can divide that KB, and you can convert it to the MP or GB if you're good enough with the coding again, right? So these all are the functions, these all are the scalar operators, these all are the table operators are available, or maybe would work with the KQL, right? If you can explore all this, and you can try by yourself, and you can learn by yourself. And yeah, I have already given the document about the supported properties. These all are the properties available with the KQL, right? And the limitations I already discussed, right? So I believe that's it with the device query option. And if you have any doubt, if you have any question, BIOS version, yeah, I just saw your chat. Yeah, you can check the BIOS version. See, when I run the BIOS, let me try that. And okay, BIOS, what do you need? You need the project, some BIOS version, right? I will just check the BIOS version. I don't need any other details. I'll just look for the BIOS version here, right? Yeah, the BIOS version is available. Maybe I'll look for something else. What else? Maybe the manufacturer of BIOS. Yeah, that's also can be listed here. Only thing you have to query, you have to go inside the this table, right? You have to get the information like by querying itself. There's no hard code values. All the information you will get it only once you query it in a proper way. If not, it will throw an error. All right. Do you guys have any doubt with the device query? You want me to explore any other stuff which related to device query? All good, right? Like I said, there are multiple properties available, 20 plus properties available, and we can't obviously go inside each properties and query using this window. I mean, during this window, you can probably, like, by yourself and learn things, right? And I have given you the document, and I believe Vidya had already shared my blog post as well. You can explore, and you can reach to out me or anyone in the community. Maybe you can reach out me through the LinkedIn. And if you guys have any question about anything, any topic, it can be the device query or anything, I'm happy to help you out. Someone is writing something. Can we query only single machine data? No. Oh yeah, that's what I said. You can't query a group of machines, at least as of now, as of this moment. You can't query all the, maybe a group of machines, right? Probably I was trying to do the same activity with the graph API that was working for me, but now it's not working. But when you go with the graph API, probably, like, using a for each, using the PowerShell, this would work. Like, maybe in a for each we could explore it. I'm trying to explore. I'm trying to do with the multiple devices. But as of now, you can do the device query from the Intune portal only on a single device. Did I answer your question, Balaji?
Yes, Sujit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any question? You can raise your hand, unmute yourself.